Welcome to the AIU World Symposium, Innovation for Achieving Sustainable Development. And so we will now move on to our next presenter, Zoltan Szekely, who I think is coming to us from Hungary. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Jó napot kívánok mindenkinek. Örülök, hogy itt lehetek. That was Hungarian.
Okay. So you have many startups for sustainable development. You founded some companies. So you're going to talk to us about what's involved in creating startup companies for sustainable development. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Professor.
Can everybody hear?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can hear it.
Yeah, we can see and we can hear.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, perfect.
Very clear.
Szekely Zoltan, go ahead and start your presentation.
Thank you very much. So I would like to start with the key indicators on how we check whether an innovation is mature enough or not. These are three pillars. It is very important to keep them on a balance, because if you are going technology readiness high too soon without the business readiness, you will lose your technology. If you build your business without catching up with technology and without enough money, it will just collapse at a certain point. And the fundraising rounds, someone is annotating my let me clear that. Fundraising rounds, you will not have enough fund to cross the valley of death, which is extremely hard. How this goes in our cases, we analyze every startup with the so-called SLA, Success Landscape Analysis, where we take into account the product's different tech readiness levels, innovation readiness levels, business readiness levels, and the total available market. Of course, it's not enough that you have a brilliant idea. It's not enough to have a good technology. It's not enough to have enough money. The market has to be open for you. And with this, we are closely cooperating with policymakers, governments, large public funding bodies to establish a good value chain, what can build up. It is very hard to have your startup and grow your startup without some helping subcontractors or the environment having like this. Like you can be the farmer and producing a lot of milk if the road structure or the rail structure, infrastructure over there doesn't allow you to transport your products to the customers on time. That's a very simple example to show. So that's also taken part into the success landscape analysis we do. And so we score the startups. And the result of score makes a list. And your place on the list as a startup or founder, or even only an innovator with an idea, because we also accommodate such initiatives, will provide you the terms under which we will invest into the company or provide support for the company or fundraise for the company. These are the three typical types of sources. The professor already spoke about the grants. Grants are usually policy or mission driven of the organization providing the grant. It has a significant administrative burden usually, or the grant is not too high. So there are small grants which do not need much administration, but the most of the grants do have administrative burden on them. There is a limited competition, though the competition will be strong because usually the same people will go for the grant with similar ideas or are targeting the similar available market than you are. It has a low cost, and most of the grants have high intensity, speaking about 50% or higher. In Europe, with the grants we work, are usually 50 to 100% financing an innovation project. From the very idea, from TRL2, from having a concept, until the concept is proven, prototype is ready, and the system is demonstrated. The second pillar is investment. In investment, you have quite a high competition. A lot of companies are driving for this money. But what you receive is free to use compared to the grant, when you have certain rules, staff costs, what you can spend on money, what you can spend on equipment. Investment always has a cost. Profit is expected, so you have to pay back the money together with an expected profit to the investor, either by selling your company or by buying the investor out, depends on who is exiting and how. And the third pillar is loan. The loan is the most risky way of fundraising for a startup or for any company. Why? Because loan must be repaid. A grant can be spent and the research may fail if everything is well done and you did it diligently. You don't need to repay the grant if you have your indicators. Investment, if the company collapses, the investors accept they will not get their money back. This is why that's a venture investment. While loan taken from a bank must be repaid at all costs. There is always almost an interest rate. There are very, very few loans which are 0% interest rates. And you need a collateral or a guarantor who guarantees your payment. And it adds to the burn rate. You will need to start to repay the loan. Who and when is a good idea to take up a loan? If you have a already placed order, a contract in place from a big customer, but you have to scale up your company. That's a typical scale-up case when we can recommend to a startup to have a loan. Otherwise, better go for grant or investment. What are the decision factors in grants? Because to start a good business or a good idea, you will need to follow those decision factors. First, in the low technology readiness level, low business readiness level, it starts with excellence-based. How good the idea is, scientifically how it is beyond state of the art, how big the scientific challenge is. For example, the European Innovation Council's Pathfinder is targeting for breakthrough innovations, for breakthrough scientific results. And they give us 100% funding. But similar, if you have a good student project in AIU, which has a scientific impact, you have a very good chance that the university either give you funding or help you to achieve such funding. This is the starting place where good startups, best spin-offs, and most of the famous companies do start as a university project. Usually those universities do not expect return of investment, or it will be very far away, usually monetized through their technology transfer centers. The next step is policy-based. When a policymaker, a government, be it national, European Union, or local government, has a policy aim, let's say to cut our carbon footprint, and therefore they release a set of grants for technologies which have the potential to achieve this in the future. This policy-based approach also helps building the value chain to make sure, if you remember my example with the milk farm and the road, make sure that not only the milk farm will get a grant to develop, but also the related road infrastructure and transportation infrastructure will also will get funding to grow in order to accommodate the other company and allow its growth. So those policy-based grants are usually medium technology readiness level. They have medium risk and are very much impact focused. We have to achieve the impact which is expected in the program. The most famous of these programs, policy-based programs, is the Horizon Europe programs clusters, so-called the middle pillar of the programs, and the innovation-based program with the European Union is the EIC, European Innovation Council's accelerator, where They aim for high TRL, high technology readiness level, which is low risk. So there is a high risk that there is no high risk that this innovation will not work or something. It's quite clear. It just has to be later enough to the market, so help jump the value of that. But those grants are very much result oriented. You will need to have a product. You will need to roll out to the market. Why I am providing examples on the European Union and Horizon Europe framework program. That's almost 100 billion euros program running until 2017, and most countries from around the world are able to join in a way or another. There is a long list, for example, on African countries, which are automatically eligible for such funding. And there is a US-EU cooperation in place. There is a EU-US-India cooperation in place. There's the EU-Japan cooperation in place. In the way that also countries and entities, for example, like Mwala's company, can join us in a consortium working on a policy-based project. But those three pillars are usually the same globally, not only true for Europe, but for Europe, I have right and straight examples for you. Excellence-based is the MSCA, Mary Skłodowska-Curie program. Policy-based is the European Union's Horizon Europe Research Innovation Action Clusters, Innovation Action Clusters. Innovation-based is the EIC Accelerator. I will go now to show some examples of our startups. And if you are interested in any ways of grants and funds, reach out to Professor Lambert, because we are, like, I'm also a student of AIU. I'm doing my doctorate in business management at AIU, so you can find me there. And the professor will surely help get a link to me, get a contact to me, and I will be happy to help for any innovation which can be applied for sustainability. So what are our sustainable startups? This is already a 2 million euro balance company. We started to work together 7 years ago, and produced the 5G IoT sensor, which a D battery, which can work for years. And with this sensor, we reportedly made quite large cut on carbon footprint on road construction machines, courier services, and finally the company and the technology was bought by Vodafone, and they didn't stop the entire company. They continued with another idea. They're doing now smart meters, smart water meters, and now we are just about raise a 600 million investment in Hungarian forints. That's 1.5 million euros to scale up this company into a global level. The idea is dosimeter. This is the space technology. There was a successful, we contributed to a successful launch of a very small CubeSat, and then we helped the young innovator who made the world's smallest dosimeter, TIZ, total ionizing dosimeter, to write his application to the European Space Agency, and now he got accepted, and now officially he is an incubatee of the European Space Agency's business incubator with our support. And this sensor will be able to be built into mobile phones, smartwatches, VR glasses, augmented reality glasses, practically into any electronic IoT device to check the radiation present, which is, especially in Europe, right now in the shadow of Russian nuclear threats, it's a very trendy and hyped topic. Agri-Voltaics. This is an agricultural project of my company. That's an in-house project. So this is the CEO's innovation on how to build agrivoltaic farms from sustainable materials, including the solar panels, and how to make a circular economy, a small circular economy from every farm. Linking back to Mwala's presentation, my boss is she. We have a female CEO. She's grand. And I can much appreciate the capability of her to spread his attention to so many parallel things at once, which I'm not capable of. I'm rather like to focus. But APV is something like this when you need to focus into multiple energy sources, and one energy source is that you put solar panels above your lettuce farm. One of our first pilot projects was planned to be launched in Nigeria, but in the last moment we didn't get the funding. But we have a project launched in Hungary, and we're looking forward to try again in Africa with some more funding, because we think that one of the best solar electricity yield farms can be placed in Africa, and the shadow cast by those solar panels can help a lot to grow more food in any of the areas, even in very, very dry and arid ones. And now the final and the real startup, what I want to present here is solving two problems: solving the waste problem and producing affordable and available energy. Currently, in the United States, 500, 800 kilograms are produced every year by every person. That's waste, which goes into a trash. Some of it gets recycled, some of it not. If you see our Central European region, Central East European region, our landfills where the non-recyclable waste is placed, which even cannot be incinerated because it's hazardous or it's toxic or whatever, they're filling up, and there's no more place to open new landfills. Non-recyclable waste is accumulating. So what is the picture? If you take 100 kilograms, 1 tons of that's 2,000 pounds roughly, municipal solid waste, so the waste what you collect from an average town, there will be around 300 kilograms of so-called RDF, refuse-derived fuel, what you cannot recycle, cannot reuse, cannot compost. And this is the input for the technology, including hazardous wood waste, like woods painted or infused, or byproducts of oil industry, plastics, including surgical plastics or medicinal medicinal waste, which has biohazard in, or simple paper and wood waste, which is like color printed papers releasing lead into the air if burned. So what does this Horga do? On the left side you see an incinerator or a landfill. Compared to an incinerator, the Horga plant does not burn the RDF. It gasifies. It breaks down into molecules, which is called syngas. So two types of molecules are left after the reaction. One is hydrogen, the other is carbon monoxide. And then the carbon monoxide is reformed into carbon dioxide and captured. So it is not released. It is captured and can be used in soda or can be used in farming. Hydrogen can be used as fuel, or even the syngas directly can be used to produce electricity or cooling or heating power, depending on which place in the world you are or what you need. So instead of directly producing energy or electricity, heat or electricity, like an incinerator does, instead the Horga plant produces an energy carrier, a syngas, which can be stored. And if there is a grid failure, or if the Agri-Voltaics solar panels, the PV panels do not produce enough electricity because it's dark or it's clouded, you can just click on a switch, and then the syngas can be turned into electricity or combined heating, cooling, and power, or turned into hydrogen and fuel, for example, a hydrogen fuel cell car. Look, what is the difference for Horga compared to other waste to energy systems? It is very small. One module has a very small input. The plants are not these huge megawatt plants, but you cannot build only out of tens of millions of dollars. You can build a two plant system out of $5 million. And these flexible modules can be readily work for a town or provide electricity for a town of 50,000 citizens. So it is ideal for a decentralized system where towns and local municipalities, each one collects their waste locally and turns into energy locally. And when combined with agri-voltaics farming or simply PV panels or urban farming, this can be an ideal energy community to help out. Compared to current energy prices and the surge of energy prices, now our offer is a low capex, a low capital needed for start, a quite affordable and reliable energy production, and it's a cheap feed. In many countries, not you pay for the RDF, what you put in as fuel, but in Europe, the people pay for the waste management company to take away the municipal waste. So actually, you can have a negative price fuel for your Horga reactor and produce energy for your village or town. Here is an idea on how an energy community can work. We developed this energy community model with Indian partners. We're working with India on this to build photovoltaic power station and an energy reed farm, and then feed the biomass into the Horga plant together with RDF, because they produce less waste than Europeans do, exclamation mark. And so we can send the capacity of both plants, the power stations, PV plant and the Horga plant, to water pumps to secure water supply, because you will need the water at night. You have to use it at night and irrigate your land, and you power your houses, your hospitals, your schools, and your shopping malls, and then return the produced waste into the Horga plant. And so this Indian panchayat, this small municipality, well, relatively small, has its own smart grid, and they only feed from the national grid when it's necessary. So if there is a grid collapse, the smart grid can sustain local consumption. If the local energy production is suffering maintenance or something, they can still fall back to the national grid. That was a use case in a nutshell, what we put together, how we do together. What you saw in the previous slide, that was a cooperation of 4 startups. So we bring our startups together in the community, see how they can form a full value chain, how they can get a really good business. And we're looking forward to work with AIO. We are really determined to help this paradigm shift towards sustainability. For this, we will help fundraising, we will help mentoring promising projects. We plan to establish a fund, an investment fund for this paradigm shift innovations, looking forward for partners, investors, consulting companies, AIO, of course. If you are interested in such endeavor, making the world a better place, because this climate change has to be handled globally, no way of handling it any other way. Just feel free to reach out. You have my connections here. Well, thank you for your attention, and I finished my presentation. I'm giving back the word to Professor Lambert. Thank you very much for having me.
This is wonderful information, Zoltan Szekely. This is exactly what a lot of the students need to be hearing. So I'm sure you have questions. We have one question right now from Nicholas Goodhead. Let me hold on a second. I have to allow you to unmute. There. You should be Nicholas Goodhead.
Yeah, it's me. Yes, thank you, Dr. Lombard. Thank you very much. Very interesting, Zoltan. I so appreciate your presentation. And also all the information you've given to us is so brilliant, sir. Well done. And you're based in Hungary. And you have a program that you wanted to do in Nigeria because of Nigeria in Africa, in the most populous country in Africa, and with 200 million people. And if you get the right people to work with, you make any money that you want on this airplane. And the major problem you're trying to solve now is the problem that is affecting Nigeria, making Nigeria not to become one of the best, one of the first world country in the world. And I would also like to partner with you if you will allow me. I'm based here in London, and of course, my home is Nigeria. The solar panel, the problem we're having in Nigeria actually is the power problem. The fact that the solar energy is good, but it's very expensive now in Nigeria because government is not helping to simplify or investing in it to make it cheap. All those batteries and inverters. So can you put more light on how we can procure cheap panels for Nigeria market, please?
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you very much for the kind words. I can link you with the farmer in Nigeria for whom we did the plans, and for whom we wanted to start this project. To be honest, if I were you, I wouldn't rely on purchasing agrivoltaic panels. But what is preventing Nigeria of manufacturing, having its own manufacturing capacity on solar panels? I think first we should look into that problem. And the other hand, in which I can help, I can link you with manufacturers who are producing new types of solar panels, which are about to be introduced to the market. They will be more than happy to supply you at a good price, just to have demonstration places. This is what I can help you with. So I can provide you with such contacts.
So are the panel produced in Nigeria? Yeah.
Well, if you really want to be a self-sustained country, go for production capability. Don't fall into a trap in which European Union fell with all the transistors and all the photovoltaics. Although if you need solar panels immediately, I have a good contact in China who supplies PV panels in large quantity. I can also send you that link. So I can share you both contacts. I will do it with pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So drop me an email.
All right, I will. Thank you. Well done. Thank you very much, sir. Well done. Well done.
You're welcome.
So everybody, you can see here, we're networking. We're bringing together people who have contacts. This is for you. This is for your projects, because the things that you are working on are profitable.
Hello,
they
sir.
make a difference. They make the world more sustainable. So we are here to support you in networking. So Zoltan, Szekely is working here. So ask your questions, get them going. Let's see. Next up is Anjola.
Awesome.
Hi. Hi, good evening, Dr. Edward. It's good to hear from you. Hi, Mr. So my question to the speaker is, startup will want to go into agricultural leadership in terms of funding projects. What has been your major challenge, and what would you like to see better from Africa if you were to make from your current research on your projects?
So I guess the question is, what has been your major challenge?
Yeah, what has he experienced when it has to do with the issues of Africa, and what does he feel Africa needs to improve on better?
First, I didn't born there. that's the biggest challenge, because to really understand a continent or even a country, you have to born there, you have to be taken from that soil. So the only thing I can do, that I share my knowledge with people who want to make a change there, and I help them. I will not go there and tell that I am the big nice guy who can do everything and solve the problem, understand how things are going there, because I don't know. Maybe if you came over to Hungary and want to start a business, you have to, you know, a lot of small things, small changes, power networks, relations, everything. No, what we are doing in Africa, we are supporting people who want to make a change there by mentoring them, involving them into European projects as consortium members, help them get money and comply with the standards, which are international. Those are the 5 things we do. Usually, I'm never engaging an African project without having a customer from Africa who wants to do that project. I'm helping it. This is the way we contribute.
Thank you very much.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
I noted your
Thank you.
email found in the chat. We'll drop your mail.
Okay.
Okay.
I look forward. Thank you very much.
Let's move on to Felton. Yeah, Ian.
Hey, Zoltan, thank you so kindly for your presentation. You hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, the SDG is continuously focusing on self-sufficiency in every sector, and basically that leads to agriculture. And going back to your presentation, I see that agriculture serves as a tool that revamps economics. And looking at that, it takes me back to my thesis statement that I speak about using AI, building economy with artificial intelligence, and that you kind of speak about the products you have come up with Horga. So I was looking into how can that shift the dynamics in the next 8 years for sustaining agri, not just in Europe, but in on almost the continent that if you look between 9 and 2030, Africa will have the biggest, almost the biggest population, and there will still be full insecurity. How can we use these innovation that you just spoke about in terms of robotics and machine learning to improve agri sector in Africa? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Very good, because my first doctorate was on application of robotics for security, including AI. And I used to work for the European Space Agency. I was responsible for satellite image processing. And I didn't showcase one of our products, but we just recently finished the project this May on an AI-based satellite image processing, which helps public utility construction and public utility maintenance by looking into the roots of the trees, how they are interrelated with canalization or underground cables under the surface. So yes, we do a lot of AI, but the fun thing is that Agri-Voltaics and satellite imagery AI processing are concurring with each other. If you cover an area with solar panels, it will be very hard to get a good resolution with a satellite, or you will need a very high resolution satellite with very high spatial resolution and potentially very good temporal resolution with high another angle, you know, with high income photo angle, very. You will need constellations of multiple orbit positions to create images from different angles to compare it together into information. Otherwise, with a Sentinel, you will only get a gradient, what you cannot use. So yes, and here comes machine learning. Yes, machine learning will need to solve this in order not to kill one innovation with the other one. So don't do diminishing it. for feeding multiple people, honestly, my personal opinion is that slowly but surely we need to forget open field farming. So even here in Hungary, the meteorological conditions, temperature conditions, aridity is reaching a level where we can only expect secure yield of farms and plant productions if we do it in enclosed facilities, like factories, and in urban farming. So what I see, it is a very big challenge how we will be able to shift this paradigm and find a sustainable way of building those facilities. Because just imagine agri-voltaics, huge amount of steel needed if every pillar will be out of steel. Impossible. So it's a big challenge. We will work on it. And we just received the grant from the European Union. I mean, 20 minutes before my presentation, I've got the email on how we can use EVs to support APV farms and food production. We just raised the grant of 10.5 million euros. So I don't know.
You're breaking out.
Congratulations.
Can you come back?
Congratulations. That's wonderful news.
I really didn't get that point. I didn't get that point, Zoltan. I heard that you have just gotten a grant of some 10.5 million from, but I didn't get the end part of it. Can you come back to that, please?
Yeah. So we were trying to make demonstration showcases how we can solve these problems by fusing it seemingly far away technologies or innovations. Like everyone is thinking how an electric car can help feeding people. But yes, it can. Think on the water pumps, because you need to irrigate it at night. Otherwise, you irrigate your water vapors and it goes for waste. So those things are one of our favorite topics. How we bring together seeming cross-discipline and multi-actor innovations. So yeah, I wouldn't be in the place of the guy who need to solve how to feed mouths in Africa in 2013. It will be a hard job, but I will do whatever I can to help him. I don't know who he or she will be, but it will be a tough job. I admit this is a challenge, but we can be prepared for it. We still have 8 years. Just start.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Let me know if I can be of any help.
Definitely. I think Dr. Lumer, thanks for kindly for bringing Zoltan onto this symposium. He's brought wealth of information that I want to believe a lot of us are not aware of, and that puts us into our innovative move of creating, not creating, but creating to meet the development goals come 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the students will basically research and they gain knowledge, but you have to be able to apply that knowledge to the world. And that's what Zoltan Szekely here is now showing us. This is the key. How do you apply it? And what are the challenges? Now let's go to Asterio Florentino, and then we'll go to Jose Mejia. Asterio Florentino, Victoria.
Dr. Lambert,
Yes.
probably before we go to the other question, I wanted to find out from Felipe whether he has managed to resolve that technical problem with Honorable Chitola.
We are monitoring that, and I don't see Honorable Simplex Chayola in the symposium right now. And Felipe is on the phone with him trying to work it out.
Okay.
We are actively working on that still.
Okay.
Can you call? Are you able to call him and ask him?
Yes, I'm able to call him. I was trying to use the other way out, but I would also suggest that probably maybe
Felipe was saying his phone was busy and he wasn't able to answer the phone. Maybe you can call him.
Okay, let me do.
Okay. Okay, Asterio Florentino Victoria.
Yeah, good afternoon. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yeah,
of
please
course, we
go
are.
ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, good afternoon.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm from Angola. I've been interested of that business of solar panels. And the question is that I don't have the money. I know the places where it can be installed. And I would like to know how can we deal about that?
I've just checked the list of third countries associated to the European Union programs, and Angola is automatically eligible for funding. So if you give me an email address, I will link you with the head of this PV project, and she will contact you.
I sent my
she
email
better
at
in better knowledge of the funding opportunities.
Yeah.
What we did
Okay.
apply in case of Nigeria, it was a VAP.
Yeah. All right. I sent my email to the.
Yes, Zoltan,
Yeah,
there's a lot of emails in chat.
Yeah, I see.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
I see it in
emails
the
in chat.
Okay, thanks. I will note them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now let's go to Jose Meia. Welcome. There you go.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. What is your question?
Thank you very much. Just want to greet everyone on the program, and to Zoltan. I just want to ask. Just want to know how did he start up? Was this how did he start up his work? Was it part of a line of a family member or his parents, or he start up in school? And how can he pass this knowledge like to students? Because most of the times here, we all know that we venture into that kind of work after studying and after studying, when we prepare and we need to start up our project, that's when we venture into that. But for us to be into it, we need to start at a very early stage. So how can his work be introduced to schools or to students or to at a very early stage? What's the secret? How did he start up?
Well, my start wasn't easy. I was like 11 or 12 years old when I was scrapping old CRT monitors on a scrapyard to earn my living because my parents were divorced. Later on, I joined a military school because otherwise I wouldn't have a chance to get a diploma. And after this, I've served my years in the army. And then I ended up with a degree. I was doctor I'm doctor of law and political sciences as well. Ended up at the legal university, and then I started to teach on another university. And then I've started to help out my students and my fellow researchers on projects. So we started to do this on a business basis in 2011, so it's not too old. After first we started with the smallest local entrepreneurship structure, you know, paying small taxes, having small businesses, and that slowly, gradually built up. I didn't do it alone. I did it together with my wife. She's the co-founder of the company, and she's the boss. So the first and good secret is to get a woman who is strong, kind, and loving you to do all these hardships together with you. That's my biggest advice ever. Then have children worth fighting for, even in the worst mood. That's the second secret. So you have mouths to feed. And the third one, do not afraid of sending away people where you don't have a good feeling in connection with. Look for the people you like to work together. Even if it's a big business, do not engage with someone you don't trust and don't like to work together. This is the other key of success. And money-wise, my success was depending on the public grants I was continuously appealing for and raising for big companies and large research organizations. And we charged the success fee for that. Between 2011 and 2020, we raised 30 million euros for them. And after 21st until today, so far raised 30 million euros plus a new contract we just fall in. And do not be afraid of start working. Do not be afraid of start working at large companies. Learn what is project management, and don't be afraid of failing. The startupper who never wrapped up a startup is not a real startupper or an entrepreneur. I already had my first company and I had to wrap it up because the tax rules changed and it was not anymore feasible. So be brave to fail, get a good partner to your side, and don't be afraid of saying no. If I have to, and I have to say three secrets, those are the 3 secrets from my side. I hope I helped with that answer.
Zoltan, Szekely, a common question you will receive is there a template that will help you write up your plan?
Definitely, yes. Depending on the size of, on the stage of the business or the innovation, we use different templates, from the space agency business incubator template down to the idea evaluation form, what we use to evaluate ideas and new structures. Yes, we do. Different sizes of businesses, different stages of businesses need different templates. But yes, we do have such templates for them.
Now, from my experience, when you've done research or you've published a thesis and you have statistical analysis, that really helps you be more successful to obtaining a grant. Is that your experience too?
Yes, the key element of having grant on a research or research innovation action is the excellence part. And it has 3 legs. One is how well you see on your own market, how well you see the statistics, what you say, how you are in picture with the state of the art, including publications, and what you can propose to jump beyond the state of the art. These are the 3 key elements. You have to be with the sheer numbers, with the quality. You have to have the quantity research done well, the quality research done well, and the future plans doing well. If this is in place, you will have a good chance to get a grant. Most of the proposals who fail getting a grant here in Europe are failing on the excellence, on scientific excellence part. So the answer is yes.
Can you say that word again? Accents? Failing on the what?
Excellence. No, it is an evaluation category in Horizon Europe. There are 3 evaluation categories. First is excellence.
Perfect.
And second is impact, and third is implementation. I put it in the chat. Sorry, but I'm not a native English speaker.
Oh, you're doing fine. Let's go to Lumbayi Jides.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Dr. Lambert.
Hello, Lumbayi. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Good.
Yeah, I'm happy. I saw my my email, my documents that I asked you last night. Let me ask something this question here that I have. How do you transform the trash to electricity? And another one, Agri-Voltaics. So I don't know how do you work it out to come with electricity like a power. So that was my question.
Sorry, but I lost the connection for a moment. Can you please?
Okay. Sorry, I was just asking, how do you transform the trash to electricity or to the power in the agriculture Agri-Voltaics? So I want to have a little bit of clarification on that.
Sorry, something must be wrong with the connection. I don't get it. Put it in the chat because your voice is very distorted for me.
Yeah, basically the question is, how do you convert trash into electricity?
Trash? Yeah, you mean RDF? Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, it is a patented solution on gasification of municipal waste. I can send you over the patent number. I'm not a chemical engineer. The guys in the startup really know how it works. I cannot tell you the technology because that's not in my expertise. But basically, it breaks it down into smaller and then smaller and then smaller chains on a very high temperature, is what I understood. So the temperature is roughly around 1000 Celsius, so very high, and high pressure and all those things. They built a reactor. They have this reactor patented, and this is the reactor what they actually sell to the plants.
Okay.
And this is how it works. Sorry, but I cannot really give the exact answer. I don't know.
You said you need to send something for me, so send it and then I can get more.
I put in here a video link where you can see an experimental plant working. Okay.
Okay.
That's
So,
the easiest way to
look
at it because it's not my field. Sorry.
All right, that's no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have a question here in chat from Thomas Okello, who is from Uganda. He's actually put in some water purification systems into some schools. And so he's now looking for international funding to actually increase that project to help other more schools to put in water purification systems. So he's saying, do I have any chance for funding?
I think yes. Let me check the eligibility of the country.
Uganda
is in the automatically eligible list. So it depends whether there is an active call on one of the work programs which can help this. What I can do, I can meet with the national contact point of Hungary on the European social funds and check if she knows a direct call for this. If not, then we have to reach out to the Commission and ask for them to extend the work program with such a call, which can help this funding. The other way I can help, there is the Hungary Helps program. There is a large program which Hungary uses dispersing funds in third countries. I can also check out with the Minister of Foreign Affairs if there is such a direct program. Thomas, can you please write on my email an approximate size of one project, because the size matters, which kind of funds can be available, what circle of calls are interesting. Because this is what we can, if I understand, it's replication of an already successful, already finished project, what works, if I understood it well. Because this one kind of funding, because if it's, I'm sorry, I didn't switch on the video. The other way of funding is if it's not yet established, it has to be an experimental project, because then we need to apply for different group of funds, different topics. So I need to learn more to say exact yes and no, but there is no legal obstacle on behalf of the European Commission to give funding to entities in Uganda.
Does that answer the question? Does that answer the question?
Thomas?
There's some more research that needs to be done into what kind of funding, where the funding can come from, and different relationships that have to be built up to get that funding. So
sorry, it will not. It won't be simply just fall in on the window. That doesn't work that way.
Right. Funding is a complicated issue because someone has to evaluate your project. So you have to present your project in a complete, organized, and clear way. And so that they can evaluate it appropriately and say, okay, we trust this organization. And so then they will give money.
Yeah.
So it takes work to prepare your plan and your documents.
Yeah, and it takes time. It will take time.
But like our previous presenter was saying, Miss Agri-Voltaics, it's like a plane taking off. It gets bumpy at the beginning. And once you get through that acceleration phase and get up to altitude, it begins to level off. It takes time. It's a rough road at the beginning, but that's how you get where you're going.
Exactly. I fully agree.
Let's see. We have a question from Isa Muhammad.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Isa Muhammad Jami. My question is this. Many Nigerians have an idea of research, but the obstacle we are facing in Nigeria is how to make that research realistic regarding the funding. Is there any possible way in funding the research in Nigeria for the project, sir?
From European public money and within the European programs, the answer is no. There is one type of program, which is the so-called scientific and technological cooperation. So you have to join together with a European country. And then one entity from Nigeria or more, one or more entities, and one or more entities from Europe can join together and perform the research. Or you can join a larger European consortium doing a similar research as one of the work packages as part of their project and as a pilot site. This is the second option. The third option is that you, as a researcher, participate in a scientific mission to Europe funded by a cost action or by the Marie Skłodowska-Curie program. So as individual researchers, depending on what technical level and scientific level the research is, these are your chances, what I know at the moment for now. Did you receive my answer, Issa? Or I was muted again? No, I'm on.
Okay, let's move on to Anne Langat.
Hello, my question is Kenya eligible to receive that kind of support, financial support?
Yes, it is. I put into the chat the link to the European Union's document. Please check it regularly from time to time, because this can be subject of change. As we now on page, on the third page, Kenya is listed among automatically eligible countries, eligible for funding.
All right, thank you.
You are welcome. That was an easy question. Can you check me the list, please? Thank you.
Okay, shall we move on to the next question? The next question would be from Mark Opara.
Good evening, my doctor.
Good evening.
I just want to also express my gratitude to AIU for the good work you people are doing and also producing people who are making a positive impact in this generation. I also appreciate and congratulate all the presenters. But
Well, the students are doing good work, so we have to keep up and keep up with supporting them. So that's where we're at. We have powerful students.
Yeah, good. Yeah, great. So please, my doctor, my question is on the first presentation, which was on online education. And I don't know whether you've been able to see my Facebook page on AIU, which you have about 47,000 viewers, and the people have been making comments and asking series of questions regarding the costs and what courses as well, which I also promised there that I was going to contact AIU, to respond to some of their questions, because considering especially maybe in this country where the ASU has been on strike for months now, and the parents are thinking of alternative, and even the Ukraine war and the rest of them, we know what is happening now, somehow globally, that with insecurity, some parents are seeking other alternatives as far as education is concerned. So some are asking a question or asking questions, what can AIU do as regards to maybe exchange rates that actually makes the cost very, very high, and how much is the cost? They're asking series of questions there. So I promised them I was going to as well communicate to AIU to respond to some of their questions, because this online education actually is what may drive the strength of people, considering the condition and circumstances that we found ourselves, the insecurity and the rest of them. So thank you and well done to everyone. I remember also the man that presented, I think Victor, if I'm not mistaken, on tourism. And I was just reflecting because due to insecurity, we see that some recreational centers are being attacked, some eateries are being attacked, and these are places that people actually like to go and ease off. And when he actually projected the 3 pillars, economy, society, and the environment. And I was also relating it to the economic situation, that poverty now is in increase, especially in Africa and in my own country, Nigeria, that affects the way people have actually desired to ease off. So which may as well affect the result of tourism as one of the innovative ways to achieving sustainability development goals. So maybe God will help us. So thank you, and thank you everyone, and well done.
Thank you
Hello?
very much. Even others as well. Thank you.
Hello, hello. And
Hello.
thank you.
Dr. Lambert. Hello, Dr. Lambert.
Dr. Chansa.
Yes, I'm trying to think or suggest that the presentation for Honorable Simplex, there seems also to be a very high demand for Zoltan's presentation. Between you and me, we can talk with the backgrounds, and the same auditorium, we can still inform them when probably Honorable Chachola can also present his presentation. And also we give probably some few, time to Zoltan to probably also explain some of the key issues where he can be able to, you know, give us an insight of the projects which are viable, probably in Africa, and it gets a little bit technical in terms of what kind of things grants or maybe the donors or whoever, and what are they looking out for, so that we do not lose track. I followed it keenly, and I thought it can be food for thought for all of us who are listening to him, so that the next time it comes, probably we just have two presenters. We give them enough time. They give us the insight of what what we want to hear from them. I think it can help, because I'm seeing people are falling off. We are more than 200 now. Which means the 5 hours we have spent. Not everyone. Others are knocking off. Others, they have to travel a little bit. That was my suggestion and contribution.
Okay, so we will continue with the presentation from Zoltan Szekely. Honorable Chatyola is not online right now, not in the symposium, and we are unable to contact him at the moment. So were you able, Dr. Chansa, to actually call Honorable Chatyola?
Yes, I did, and actually I admitted him, but I don't know how I've lost him as well. I actually admitted him.
Yeah, if you can ask him to come back in. I don't see him in the list of people present in the symposium.
Yeah, right now, even myself, I can't see him. I think we've lost him again, but we spoke in the background, and I think it was agreeable to my proposal that the next time we're having a symposium, we should be one of those speakers.
Yes.
Who should be given that opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's really a sad situation when a presenter is ready and they just can't get the technology to work.
Yeah.
It happened in the last symposium too. But there was like a thunderstorm and the presenter wasn't able to connect to the internet because of a thunderstorm that day. So
yeah, he's not around.
So we're basically here talking about projects and ideas that need to be funded because there are so many opportunities in the world. Energy, schools, education, healthcare. There's opportunities in job development, training, startup businesses. Everybody has an idea of something they can do as far as like a business or an organization to improve the world, to create a job. And so we are talking about how do you fund these projects, which is a critical component of success. How do you fund a project? So I think Zoltan Szekely, if you can give some like a summary of your presentation, like a conclusion, what would you say?
Well, if you want to get your project funded, then develop yourself into the guy who words funding. Don't forget that 80% of the decision on whether it's funded or not in a private investor is about you, your team, you as a leader of the idea. So I really recommend every trainings, what, for example, Moala is doing, really learn Excel. That's a key point. So develop yourself, become trained and experienced enough to be able to write a good proposal, get good funding, and successfully implement the project what is funded. Because the biggest challenge is not to win the grant. The biggest challenge is not to fail with the project. And for this, you and your team has to be well-trained, experienced, and courageful, and enduring. If I would need to summarize my presentation, I would like to say this, because it is possible, but you need to become capable of it. Everything is inside you. You have to unlock it, but you have to do it. before you go for funding. I think that's the conclusion I can say.
And where would people find the templates that they need to write up their plans?
For European programs, it's so-called funding and tenders portal. You can find templates for different programs. This is more or less, they are more or less generalized, but not all. For EIC Accelerator, I don't think it's a published template now, but it will come early 2023 because now the accelerator is in reserve until 2023. There will be a rework on the investment part.
Now, you and your contacts also are interested in investing in projects, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So let everybody know that if they have a project that they can present, right? That you would be available and interested in hearing about projects. Is that correct?
Yep. You feel free to send me a pitch deck, and if the pitch deck is cool, then we will or a 3-minute video, a 10-slide pitch deck or a 3-minute video. And if you're interested, sounds good. In that case, we will send you business plan template. Don't invest a lot of work to write a 20 pages business plan before checking up the idea with us, because on the venture side, it will not worth you the time. You don't lose many other opportunities working too much. Send me simply, clearly story-based ideas. That will help. If we are interested in something, if something catches our mind, we will send you a template and even give help. Usually the first template we fill together in a teleconference, an online teleconference with the applicant. So it will be a question and answer, and we fill it into the survey, and then we present you the results. Like your technology is scored A as a breakthrough technology. But your team is scored B-. You have to develop the people. You don't have the right people. So things like this, we always communicate before entering into any kind of contract with remuneration. So this is for free. Up to this point, until the first evaluation from our side, we give it as a goodwill service to anyone sends a good pitch to us.
And you can also give feedback that, say, if somebody wants to build a school, then but they don't give you how many rooms, the size of the building, where it's going to be located, if they have any permits to do the construction. Those are all details that have to be worked out in the plan, correct? Yeah. So there's a process of feedback, improving your plan, developing your plan, feedback, and getting to that point where, and like Szekely says, you first present an idea, and then that is evaluated. And then from there, if it looks like a good idea that's available for funding, then you start developing more of your documentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Obadiah Azinekwe.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, first of all, I have to thank Dr. Barsing, who has just left us, and also Dr. Lambert for the opportunity of giving me to participate in this symposium. The lecturers have actually done quite a big job on all the problems facing not only the world, particularly is problems of African sub-Sahara. My question is, the value-added innovation required to improve the standard of living in most local communities My research indicates that in Africa, in particular Nigeria, for instance, the population of about 70% of the population live in rural communities, and they are heavily deprived. That is why you have problems emanating from there. Social vices, infrastructure poor standard. Most of the villages in these areas are still living just like Stone Age. I pointed out all this in my research. So my question, whether AIU in their usual goal of helping even the leaders, how can they help us to improve the standard of living in local communities? This will help to solve a lot of problems we have today. It's going to stop this rural urban migration. The people are really very, very in bad condition. Their living standard is very low. Infrastructure is very, very below standard. Development is nowhere. So this value-added innovation can be used to improve their living condition. The lecturers have talked on that. They talked about a strategic development goal by United Nations. And as Dr. Varsi mentioned, I don't think any country in West African sub-region will be able to attain even 10% of the goals, 17 goals, come 2030. It's not possible because of the rate of how things are going. The leaders we have in most of these countries don't even have good knowledge of the 17 strategic goals by United Nations, and they are signatories. So please, Dr. Lambert, how can we include this in most of our programs so that we can throw more light to our leaders? That's the major problem we have in West Africa, Nigeria, and in fact, African sub-Sahara. Thank you.
It is
Definitely
we have
some
the same problem
challenge.
here in Hungary. So go on,
ahead, Zoltan.
please go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Zoltan.
I just wanted to say that we have the same problem here in Hungary. So like when we 3 years ago put the first Horga technologies reactor and showed it to the politicians and told them that I think you should install one in every town. The answer is no, we don't need that. We get the cheap Russian gas. And then 3 years passed and there is no gas now anymore. Or just very, so no, the problem is that some people, especially political leaders who are already built up political capital, career, is very hard to be pushed towards innovation with very few exceptions.
Yes.
And developing standard of living is very much based on what is development as perceived by the local community.
Correct.
I'm not sure if we're being there some shiny new innovation with whatever satellites or robots picking fruits. Will anyone be interested? Because, for example, maybe there are need for water pumps or water to have fruits. So no need for these shiny nice robots to pick the fruits, because they would do it by themselves if there will be any food available. So those things we always need to look into the details and analyze the situation, identify risks, identify resilience indicators, and make, we call it pathway to development. What are the value chain elements? What are the steps necessary to achieve the goal in a sustainable way, and not only sustainable like green sustainable, but it will be there 10 years, after 10 years, the project is finished. It will be able to live after the project time, because I can go into any village and just drop hundreds of millions of euros in the middle of the village and then leave. But if there is no good policy and local interest-driven use of that money, it will just vapor out, and zero efficiency of funding, or just 10%.
Correct.
No, that's not the good way. We have to think. We have to think complex and global, but act locally. This is a very easy sentence, and many people are saying that but it's not easy to do it. It's very hard, in fact, to do it. For example, I cannot even succeed with it in my own country. So maybe not I'm the best reference point, but I'm trying to do my best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, basically, you're going to have challenges with governments and many other things. So you get your plan together, and once you get that money, you use that money and to complete your project. And being sustainable, though, sustainable development is the key here. Is you don't want to just receive the money one time and then have these challenges that's going to make you fail months or years later. You want to have a plan in place that you're going to be sustainable for a long time. Have your backup, like Miss Audrey and Walla was saying, have a backup of your backup. Always make sure that if one thing is not working, you have a backup. Even funding, if one funding doesn't work, you'll have a backup. And always make sure that you're covered, that in case of a challenge, you can work through it by using other resources. So you want to diversify and integrate different organizations and people in what you're doing. And you have to be creative and persistent. That's for sure. We have a question here. Zoltan, Szekely, do you have more time?
A couple of minutes, because to be honest, it says 8 p.m. here. So I will need to join the family soon, but I have like another half an hour if there are any further questions.
Okay.
But if I may ask, please, you can feel free to distribute my presentation in PDF, as it's already sent to you, and everyone can find my email address in there and can find me on LinkedIn. So I will be thankful if you can help them to find me with the questions even after the symposium is over.
Okay, I'm going to share your presentation right now. It's uploading. So there's a link now in chat if you want to download Zoltan Szekely's presentation. Well, I think we have talked about a lot of things. The participants have a lot of ideas that they're thinking about right now, and they see these opportunities opening up they didn't see maybe yesterday. And all of a sudden, this symposium is saying, you have these opportunities, you have these possibilities, and you have the support. And so now you're beginning to think, okay, I better focus on what I want to do and start making a plan. And you have some contacts here. So, and there are many grants. AIU has access to grants. Zoltan Szekely has access to grants. There's all kinds of grants, but you've got to get your plan focused. Your idea, what is your idea? What do you want to do? Build one school, build 3 schools, build 50 schools? What is your plan? And really quantify it. What do you want to do? How much do you want to do? How many people do you want to employ? What's your market? Do you want to have a market to the people in your neighborhood? Or do you want the people in your town? Or do you want the market to be everybody in your country? Or do you want an international market? Think about your plan, what your service, your product is, and think it through and write it down. And begin to define it, quantify it. And then you're on your way. And then stay in touch. It's good to be in touch with other people to get their feedback. So what do you think? Is this enough? Should I ask for more? Do you think I should do more? Talk with your family, talk with your husband and your wife. How much should I put into this? how much can I devote my life to this project? Would you be there to support me? Little details like that. Would your family be there to support you? If all of a sudden you're traveling around the world building schools, but you never see your family, is that what you want? And then think, okay, I need to balance my work with my family and start to develop a proper balance. And then that's what's going to make it sustainable. So the development that you want to do will be sustainable because you're balancing family, community, your own life, your work, and the commitments that you have. Look for that balance, that what you want to do. And these are things that will prevent failure and frustration in the future. So stay in contact, let other people know what you're doing, and look for support. What kind of support will people give you? Okay, I think that's it. Zoltan, Szekely, do you have anything more to say?
I don't need to. I fully agree with what you just said. So thank you very much for saying the final words.
Yeah, because I think like what you're saying is you have a wife that is there to completely support you and is even involved in funding and managing the businesses.
Absolutely. She is the boss, actually. So she tells me what I'm doing and what projects we are going on. I'm the kind of the spearhead guy, you know. She is pointing on what is the target, and then I go in. This is how we let's say complement each other.
Yes, that's how you complement each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so perfect. So I'm going to check one more time to see if the other presenter, no, the other presenter, Honorable Chatyola Simplex, will present at the next symposium. And then we have to work out the technology issues, but we'll get that straightened out. Okay. Zoltan, Szekely, thank you so much for your input, your insights, and your information, and your support of other students.
Thank you, Professor. Thanks for having me. I'm very pleased to be a student of AIU.
All right, everybody, I think that will do it.